folks, I cannot believe that we're back for another edition of Let's Unpack That Beat. And so we've made it to beat 4, which is We Walked Through It. I do remember starting this project a couple years ago at this point, and whenever you first start something, whether it be a band or a painting or a novel, whatever it is, I feel like you're most inspired at the beginning, and that's why you start. And so this is the 4th beat in. I kind of made like 3 alternative hip-hop beats, I guess you could say, before this. And that part of my palette is I do like film score stuff. I do like atmospheric stuff. I think it would be a lot of fun to actually write a film score for a movie or a TV show, just to actually watch footage and then with that in mind, make something. We'll see if I ever get a job doing that. But for beat 4, I remember thinking, I think it's time to make something atmospheric, something film score-ish. I don't know if anybody watching has seen the movie Southpaw. I have not seen the movie, but I do like the soundtrack to Southpaw. James Horner is a bad dude. But this kind of was written in that vein of something dark and intense and atmospheric, and that's what I kind of started out with before I even made the first note or anything of this. I can see this being like in a reality TV show whenever they vote people off the island. It's like, and now it's time to tally the votes. Then I could see this beat playing in the background for this.
All right, it is time to vote. Ozzy, you're up.
So starting out, this is in 7 the whole time. And I remember starting with these 2 kicks here. So there's this kick. Kick 1 is like a big old verby punch. Still at this point, you can see I wasn't truly EQing some of these samples. Although I will say that I bought Fruity Loops like in 2006, and I remember the samples that came with the first Fruity Loops version that I got were so crazy bad. The samples have come a long way, and so a lot of the times you're already dealing with compressed, EQ'd samples, but it's always good to tweak and make sure that you get rid of any bad frequencies. But it starts with kind of these 2 kicks here. You can see a big old verb tail on kick 1. And I do remember pitch correcting this second kick to make sure that it was in key. It's kind of actually more of like a low bass note. I also figured out upon listening to these, this takes my session and makes everything mono. So that's not as fun to listen to because the panning that you see here isn't truly represented. But here is just the percussion of what's happening. That just repeats over and over and over. And the other thing that kind of keeps time and is a percussive element, but also melodic, is this. Yep, it's just a high C over and over. So when you add it all together, six, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. Keys come in. So this happens again, and then it goes twice as fast. The changes are twice as fast. So you're right here. This pad comes in. Almost missed it. It's actually kind of a cool note choice. What is that? It's a minor seventh, B flat. So this little vibraphone is just pedaling a C over and over, and this B flat. It's kind of cool. Then, this is when I was borrowing a bass back in the day, and I recorded bass swells with some distortion on it, I believe. Distortion on bass too. Okay, so this is what it sounds like all together. So when bass 2 kicks in, it's even more grit and distortion. Then violins also come in. So this is, let's see, bass, violins, and the pad. Distortion bass has got to be one of my top 3 favorite layers or instruments, and really anything, honestly. It's actually a pretty progression. Keys are still happening. Same thing. Let me turn down so you can hear it better. Cool. And this is really just kind of this repeating sequence over and over in 7, and it builds up to this point. This is when the violins come in, kind of more distorted bass. This is really just the pinnacle or apex of the tune here, just a few minutes in. And then it dies off with going back to the slower keyboard. Well, it's not slower, it's just less, half as often changes on the keys. Fading out. Cool. You get the point. There's only what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like 11 tracks. But you can see how even with something that's a little bit more simplistic, you can still build, you can build the whole song. And so once again, I think this would be cool to hear in a film, or just kind of like a tense moment, or maybe a moment where someone's having this pensive reflection sort of deal. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I will continue to put these out, hopefully at a certain cadence, but I'm still trying to make a beat every single week. I believe I'm like 0.91 beats per week for almost 2 years in. So it's certainly a grind, but the one thing that I love to do, and I can continue to come back to this and keep creating. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time.